Amazon's new Reacher replacement show takes the top spot on streaming charts a week after its debut. When Reacher first debuted on Prime Video in early 2022, it was an instant hit. Critics loved its faithful adaptation of Lee Child's novels, and fans rallied behind Alan Ritchson's pitch-perfect portrayal of the towering ex-military drifter. The show was gritty yet fun, fast-paced yet methodical, and anchored by a charismatic lead who could make even reading a diner menu feel intimidating. So when Amazon announced that its newest action thriller series was being touted as a spiritual cousin to Reacher and would be filling the gap between seasons, there was excitement mixed with skepticism. After all, replacing a breakout success, even temporarily, is risky business. But 1 week after its debut, Amazon's gamble has paid off in the biggest way possible. The new series has taken the #1 spot on streaming charts worldwide. The show in question? The Sentinel, an adaptation of the lesser-known but cult favorite Mason Cross novels about freelance operative Carter Blake, a man who specializes in finding people who don't want to be found. And just like Reacher, it's a mix of rugged individualism, high-stakes mystery, and plenty of bruised knuckles. A debut that defied expectations. Amazon clearly wanted to capture the magic of Reacher without feeling like they were making a carbon copy. The Sentinel isn't just another ex-soldier walks into town story. It's more of a chase narrative, with Carter Blake almost always on the move, his missions taking him across state lines in days, sometimes hours. Where Reacher wanders into trouble and methodically dismantles it, Blake is actively hunting danger, and often finds it hunting him back. The premiere episode wasted no time setting the tone. We open with Blake standing in the middle of an empty highway at sunrise, scanning the horizon through a pair of battered binoculars. He's not lost, he's waiting. Within minutes, a black SUV barrels toward him, a kidnapped teenager inside. What follows is an adrenaline-pumping rescue sequence that manages to introduce Blake's skill set, moral code, and penchant for bending the law when necessary. By the time the credits rolled, viewers knew they weren't watching Reacher 2.0. This was something with a slightly sharper edge, less small-town mystery, and more high-speed pursuit. And that difference seems to be paying off. Chart-topping success? According to Nielsen and Real Good Data, The Sentinel topped the global streaming charts within 7 days of release, edging out not just Reacher, but also heavy hitters like Bridgerton, The Witcher, and Jack Ryan. In the US, it accounted for nearly 1.5 billion minutes streamed in its first week, a staggering figure for a debut series without a pre-existing TV fanbase. Industry analysts credit 3 main factors for its rapid climb. 1. Timing, with Reacher Season 4 still months away and other major action shows between seasons, audiences were hungry for a fix. 2. Familiar yet fresh formula, it scratched the same itch as Reacher while offering new narrative rhythms. 3. Strong word-of-mouth social media lit up with comparisons, praise for the lead actor, and speculation about crossover possibilities. That last point has been particularly interesting. Some fans are already dreaming up a shared Amazon action universe where Reacher and Blake might one day cross paths, preferably without destroying half of America in the process. Casting that makes the difference. One of the Sentinel's most talked about strengths is its casting. Taking on the role of Carter Blake is British actor Tom Hopper, best known for The Umbrella Academy and Black Sails. Hopper brings a different energy than Ritchson, less intimidating bulk, but a colder, calculating stare that suggests he's always 6 steps ahead. Where Ritchson's Reacher is physically imposing and uses his size as a weapon, Hopper's Blake is all about precision. In fight scenes, he moves like a chess grandmaster anticipating every strike. In interrogation scenes, his calmness is unnerving, like he's watching his opponent's every micro-expression. And the supporting cast is equally sharp. Melissa Roxburgh-Manifest plays Special Agent Marlowe, a reluctant ally who often serves as Blake's link to official investigations while trying not to get fired for helping him. Their on-screen dynamic has shades of Reacher and Neagley's relationship, but with more verbal sparring and a slow-burn tension that fans are already shipping. Tone and style, more chase, less diner coffee. One of the most defining differences between the Sentinel and Reacher is its pacing. Reacher often unfolds like a chess game in a small town, with long stretches of quiet investigation punctuated by brutal bursts of action. The Sentinel, on the other hand, feels like a cross-country race against the clock. Every episode takes Blake to a different location: desert highways, rainy port cities, isolated mountain cabins. The cinematography embraces this variety, giving the show a broader visual scope. The soundtrack leans into pulsing synths and low guitar riffs, adding to the sense of urgency. Thematically, The Sentinel dives deeper into espionage territory. While Reacher's cases are often rooted in corruption, organized crime, or personal vendettas, Blake's missions tend to involve people who have gone missing for reasons that may or may not be criminal. Sometimes he's rescuing a victim. Other times, he's finding someone who doesn't want to be found because they're the danger. The book fans' stamp of approval. Anytime you adapt a book series, you risk alienating the original fanbase. But so far, Mason Cross readers seem thrilled. Amazon's adaptation has kept much of Blake's book personality intact: his relentless resourcefulness, his unwillingness to discuss his past, and his knack for turning an opponent's arrogance against them. Some book elements have been modernized, tech upgrades, new geopolitical contexts, but the spirit remains. Social media has been filled with side-by-side comparisons of scenes from the first Sentinel novel and the show's debut episode, with fans praising the accuracy. Interestingly, the show's success has already boosted book sales. The Carter Blake novels have seen a surge on Amazon's bestseller lists, suggesting the TV audience is curious enough to dive into the source material. Why it works as a Reacher replacement. It's no coincidence Amazon marketed The Sentinel as a temporary stand-in while Reacher gears up for Season 4. But that marketing strategy could have backfired. Audiences might have dismissed it as a stopgap. Instead, The Sentinel has proven itself on its own terms. Where Reacher is about a man who stands still and lets trouble come to him, The Sentinel is about a man who goes looking for trouble because he believes he's the only one who can stop it. That philosophical difference means both shows can coexist without feeling redundant. For Amazon, it's a win-win. They've created a new franchise that complements Reacher rather than competes with it, giving Prime Video two reliable action tentpoles. Critical reception. Critics have been largely positive, with The Hollywood Reporter calling it a propulsive, muscular thriller that never forgets to make you care about the chase. Empire magazine praised its lean storytelling and sharp-edged charisma, while IGN noted that Hopper's Blake is less a tank than a scalpel, precise, deadly, and strangely charming. The only recurring criticism is that some plot twists feel a bit too convenient, especially for a show that prides itself on realism. Still, most reviewers agree that the show's strengths outweigh its occasional lapses in plausibility. The future looks bright and dangerous. Given its rapid success, it's almost certain Amazon will greenlight a second season. Insiders claim early discussions are already underway,